Oh my goodness, I didn't realize. I'll pick it up. I didn't realize he was using the bathroom right as I pressed the record button. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's actually good that I noticed it so that I can pick it up. I might not have noticed if I didn't notice right then, you know. Dante, we're in a good location where it's safe for Dante to be off leash. Today is the 20... No, it's not. It's the 30th. It's the 30th of December, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. This is our main side, one of the fourths to In the Image Clothing Company's 4 sides, okay? I'm holding a little bottle here, and this bottle here is going to show what this video's title is about. The open palm and internal rotation, okay? The rounding to our hands and the internal rotation of our bodies from the hand to the shoulder. The hand is the shoulder, locked out at the elbow. They'll do the exact same thing. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Here on our main side of In the Image Clothing Company, this is what we do. We discuss the anatomy of the human body in depth, and we allow the body to work. That's our key slogan here, allowing the body to work. Anything that clothes the human being is clothing the human being, okay? Good boy, though, Dante. I didn't really, give him the praise that you do, when they go potty in the location you want them to. We've got some doggy bags here. I'll pick it up. That's great. That's great. Seriously. Beautiful Utah. We live up Utah, as In the Image Clothing Company, and this is us doing that right now, Dante and I, out here, okay, in Utah County. We're moving down to St. George, Utah, as soon as that happens, and that's where we will be based for life. Me, Evan Strong, in this for life as the founder/leader of In the Image Clothing Company, and Dante as well, okay. He loves this. A good boy. Good boy. So, the hands and the shoulder, they're the same thing. The human body has a center line. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw naturally stabilizing the entire body. Well, all these things have to stay in the center. We do the same thing for dogs. On In the Image Clothing Company, poodles, one of our fourths, we specialize in purebred standard poodles. We give information that applies to all dogs on letting dogs stay natural. It is the same thing as allowing the body to work here on In the Image Clothing Company's main side for the human beings. We have a universal skeletal system. There's a universal human design. We're designed in the image of God, In the Image Clothing Company. Anything that clothes the human being, even glasses or jewelry, anything. It's clothing the human being. Collars, leashes, and harnesses, similar things like this, clothe the dogs. God clothes the fields with grass. Clothing, right? Something that was just already there. There's only truth to life. There's truly only one way the human body could ever work. It's just a mechanical machine placed onto the rock in space that is our Earth. Watch this. Even with the bottle between the fingers, what I'm saying is there is only one way the hands work. A video I filmed back to back, but there is only one way the feet work. Down in St. George, Utah, about a month and a half ago from today's date. Back. Okay. Bones connect to bones the way that they do. They're only shaped the way that they are. They connect to each other through ligaments. There's a thin layer of cushioning called cartilage between the bones so they don't wear out. Dante is on some nice natural earth. We talk about unnaturally slippery flat flooring, how that can cause things like hip dysplasia in dogs, not even allow our arches in our feet to grip. We have arches in the feet opposing the center line of our bodies, gripping inward. That's how we stay vertical, okay, from the base of our bodies up. On Earth's gravity, on Earth's center of gravity, when the human body has a center line where the musculature connects into. The Human Body Only Pulls is a title to one of our videos here under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. The human body only pulls. The body just has musculature on both sides connecting from the outside in to the center line at things like the spine in the rear in the center or the sternum in the front in the center, evenly contracting to keep us vertical and neutral on Earth. Okay. So, the rounding to our hands correlates with the arches in our feet. The arches in our feet are only there if we don't alter the feet. The importance of zero-drop shoes. a video here under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Zero drop is the term in shoes that just means flat, like the surface of the earth we step on. If we never had man-made shoes, we live in this modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. And, good boy, things alter our bodies in modern day. You know, unnatural, synthetic, artificial, these are synonyms with fake. And these are words that is placed on the labeling of our clothing and our food. We talk about eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration, everything we do as a human being. We talk about the same things for our dogs, and our information on letting dogs stay natural on In the Image Clothing Company. Poodle is one of our fourths to In the Image Clothing Company. Applies to most all animals across the earth. So, yeah, I mean, natural. Natural is the goal. The goal is natural on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. It's the only thing that actually exists. Natural, neutral, and normal are synonyms within the functionality of the human body, or the body of the dogs. There's a neutral to everything, or there's nothing. There's two sides to all things. There's opposition in all things. We discuss this in the discussions we have on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company is In the Image Clothing Company podcast, where we do have deep discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. You don't have to believe in anything. I don't personally believe in anything, but there's only truth to life. You don't have to be religious. We're all human beings. We're all the same thing, placed on the same earth. We're designed the same and by one God. You can't have an opinion on anything unless there's first something there to have an opinion on. You can't believe in or against something, or even have the choice to do so, unless there's first you there to even believe that something else could be. Where'd you come from? Well, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Dante, come. The truth of all things. There's rounding to our hands. We're designed in the image of Jesus Christ. We're all the same. Amputation, deformity, major surgery, birth defect, whatever it is that altered your body, has altered, might alter. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Sets you apart a little bit, quite a bit, whatever it is. If you're different, we're all different to the degree that we are. Look at my dog come when I call him. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Dante. He's a good boy. Purebred standard poodle. I don't know if he's purebred, actually. It's pretty certainly, but I just don't have his papers from birth. I adopted Dante from the South Utah Valley Animal Shelter. He's about 2 years old. Coming up on 2 years old, give or take. Okay. So, anyway, I've only been with him for 2 weeks and a day as of today's date. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. There's neutrals. Okay. In rotations. In the forearms, we've got a neutral with a thumbs up like this. Bent at the elbows, keeping elbows at the natural waist is a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Okay. The elbows are the shoulders through this upper arm bone, the humerus. Anywhere the elbow goes, the shoulder goes. Anywhere the hand goes, though, the shoulder goes. The human body can only ever work activated as a whole. It's all there with a role to play, and an individualistic one as well. It can't make up the role for something else or compensate, because everything's got its own different function in the body. We have different length toes. Wow, that's a big thing we put importance on. So is the jaw, stabilizing the entire body. But there's opposition, we're only pushing. You extend a joint by pulling muscles on the back side of it, or you close a joint by pulling muscles on the opposite side of that. There's no such thing as pushing within the body. We just pull musculature together where it connects to bones at the end points through tendons, and that extends a hinge. Our hand can go farther from us when we pull to extend the elbow, but there's no possible way to push as a human being. Okay, there's opposing muscles, though, so there's opposition in all things. We are on episode 197 as of today's date of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, by the way. In case you were wondering, we're doing some big things here. It applies to everybody and their dog, literally. Okay, the information we give that is truth, meaning if it is truth. Anything aligning with God, he's the same, always, yesterday, today, and forever, meaning eternally. We do so much under the gift of video, which is this here, okay, because that's great to document things, and it's permanent under In the Image Clothing Company and all 4 sides. We live up Utah. Here we go. We're doing it. But living up Utah, you have to have dexterity and rounding to your hands. Doing anything in life, you have to. The hand is round. The hand wraps around the thumb. There's only a rounding to the hands. There's only a rounding to the feet. There is only one way all the bones connect in the body, and only one inline position the musculature will pull those bones to move them. There's only one way the bones are shaped. The pinky finger and internal rotation is a video Dante and I filmed a week and a half ago, give or take, maybe a week ago, probably right around a week ago, give or take. It's date marked, we date mark things. Okay, under In the Image Clothing Company, a record-keeping people, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's a lot of reason why we live up Utah, for the sake of the beautiful nature and the diversity here through that. But also, church history within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You know, that's a big point. Utah, the state in the United States of America, is a big thing when it comes to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay? You might have an opinion on that. Don't. Truth is truth. There's only truth. I don't have an opinion that matters. No, nobody could. Okay? Truth is truth. Okay? We can just relay truth as human beings. We don't get to decide it. It's been the same since before us, and it'll be the same after. Truly, though, there is a rounding to the hand we can call the open palm. The pinky finger causes internal rotation to happen. The index finger causes external rotation to happen. Okay, because we do have this neutral in the forearms. There's 2 bones in the forearms, a radius and an ulna. From the thumbs pointing straight up, we can go internal with the rotations, or we can go external with the rotations. He's just laying down right behind me. Dante is. From the hand to the shoulder, we have internal rotation. From the neutral, we have external rotation from the neutral. There truly is only one way the human body could work, ever at all. It's truly physically, legitimately, in all actuality, mechanically impossible to train the body to get it to do anything. No new information. It's the truth since always. Gravity. You know, it pulls your hands down straight to your sides. And where it does that is just neutral. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work. It stems at the feet on Earth's gravity as our foundation, not altering the feet. Companies like Zero Shoes, the brand, doing an amazing job at what their slogan is, live life feet first. Currently wearing the Ridgeway model shoe by Zero Shoes, the brand. And they're wonderful. They're boots. Okay, they're waterproof. They're great. We do a lot outside. Living up Utah, Dante and I. And as the team grows under In the Image Clothing Company, when we move down to St. George, Utah, and our team builds human beings and poodles. Yeah, you know, we need our feet to work first. The arches in the feet, they grip inward, opposing the center line and keeping us vertical, as we said, as we say often. As they do that, though, we've got different length toes, and the feet pull from the outside in to grip inward. You have to. The pinky toes on the outsides of the feet are the shortest. We put a lot of focus on the feet. We discuss how to allow the body to work. We give a lot of free information. Okay, you would never have to purchase In the Image Clothing Company clothing or In the Image Clothing Company dog products to allow your body to work or to let your dog stay natural. We give a lot of free modifications in clothing. We just discuss life in general. There's only one way the human body could work, ever. That's it. Okay, so we can't alter the feet, or we won't have a rounding in our hands. If our feet arches aren't there first, supporting the rest of our body up, our hands correlating directly with our feet, with only one difference in the amount of bones in each, and, 5 appendages, digits, I don't know, what do you want to call them? 5 toes on the toes. Oh, wow, yeah, 5 fingers on the fingers. Really 5 toes on the feet and 5 fingers on the hand. Their operations are just about the exact same. Okay, we have to start at the feet before we can ever address the hand. That's just how it works. The body's a kinetic chain. It's all connected. It's all there. And Earth's gravity will be what our feet are opposing before the hands, okay? If we're standing on them, the feet of our bodies at the base. Maybe you don't have feet. Okay, cool. Regardless, there's only one way the hands work, okay? And they stem from the lowest point of the body up on Earth's gravity. That's just how it works, as well as stemming from the top of the head or the tip of the fingers down. This rounding to our hands, man, that's a big bird. It's a crane. Wetland area down here. Fairly close to Utah Lake here in Utah County, Utah, the United States of America. The rounding to our hands, it's got to be there. They wrap around the thumbs, okay? Our elbows need to stay at our sides, and our hands are our shoulders. The shoulder pivots on the collarbone. The clavicle or collarbone, the shoulder blade or scapula, and the upper arm bone or humerus come together to meet the shoulder. They meet the shoulder. Hi, how you doing? Really, they become the shoulder, okay? These three bones, there's musculature connecting to the bones to move the bones, but the bones are really what the joint is. So the joint of material needs to be at the seam of the bones, or the seam of the material needs to be at the joint of the bones of the shoulder. As close as we can get to the edge seams of our shoulders is where our clothing needs to sit, at the edges of our shoulders, because we're pivoting on this collarbone. And as we do that, really our thumbs are inside of the forearm, and we bring our fingers in to our thumbs. And as we do that, we bring our elbows into our natural waist. And as we do that, we bring our shoulder in closer to the central line of our body where the musculature connects at our spine and our sternum. And as we do that, we're pivoting on the collarbone. From the sternum in the center of the body out and up to the peak of the shoulder. Those are the two ends of the collarbone. Okay, when the hand closes, the collarbone pivots up and in closer to the body. The upper trapezius muscle connecting from the top and rear of the shoulder, really the top of that shoulder blade or scapula, to the cervical spine, which is the spine of the neck, and then up that to the very base of the rear of the skull. The shoulders only ever work behind the head mechanically. That's just all they could ever possibly do. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work. Watch this. There's a neutral to the shoulder height. There's a neutral to the shoulder front to back. There's a neutral to the shoulders rotations. There's just a neutral to the body. It's physically impossible. It always has been, always will be, to train the human body to get it to do anything. The only end is allowing it to work. So the top seams of our shoulders need to sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders because our shoulders follow our shoulder seams pivoting on this collarbone, okay? Earth's gravity is just pulling down on our clothing as much as it's pulling down on our own bodies. We have to oppose gravity's pull to just not do what Dante is currently doing and just flop onto the earth. But he's sleeping, you know. In waking life, or just trying to operate physically, when you're sleeping, you're only breathing as far as physical operations go, really, when it comes to motion. You know, the rib cage expanding and contracting in 360 degrees every breath we ever take, which does require the entire body to some degree to stabilize to have happened, by the way. To the tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers and the tips of the head. Well, maybe just the one tip to the top of our head. I guess there's only one tip to the top of the head, the tippy top of the head. But really, that's not even the top of the body. The fingertips are the top of the body when we get down to it, because when we drop down, we can still raise our arm above our head. Wow, holy cow, literal wording. Words only mean what words mean. Truth is truth. I don't get to decide. No human being ever could, but God is. And always. So the hands only ever work rounded, okay? And as we bring our hands together, okay, well, yeah, our hands together, there's still that rounding. Sure, there you go. 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company, in addition to the other two that I've discussed in here so far, plus the other one that I also discussed in here so far. This will be the last fourth to mention in this video, actually, to then cover all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company with at least some explanation here. In the Image Clothing Company music is what it's called. Yes, we show a lot of the sizing and setup of guitar to not alter the neutral wrist is a big point. Straight out from the pinky, from the outside of the forearm, is that neutral wrist. But then also, this natural rounding in our hands. You know, we need a rounding to what we use in life. We talk about the radius or rounding in guitars because no matter what you want to try to do, your body only works one way and you didn't design it. You cannot decide how it works. There's a rounding to the hands, and we just don't know what we don't know. We can't be held accountable for what we don't know, but what we do know to a degree is we live in this modern man-made world, and we have so many things that are flat. Unnaturally flat flooring. I was saying that earlier about Dante's feet and how his feet are happy. If you can have happy feet, you know, having all this texture to the gravel that we're walking on here on this road. The hands, though, we're using things flat, and our hands are our feet, essentially. They're basically the same things. The foot is the hip, and the hand is the shoulder, but the foot and the hand and the hand and the foot, they're the same thing as well. Really, kind of, just about exactly. There's a rounding, though, like the arch in our feet. There's an arch to our hands. There's a rounding to the palm of our hand, but if our feet arches collapse, or aren't allowed to be there through incorrect shoelace techniques, In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is the only way the human feet are shaped on the top of them, which is half of their function from the neutral surface of the earth, or the surface being called the term zero drop, which is in shoe designs. The only way the feet work. Okay, the top of the feet, half of their function, dorsiflexion, lifting the toes. That's the shoelaces. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. Nothing to do with us, but the only way the top of the feet are shaped. We just title it In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. So you can find it. From the neutral, now we point the toes, plantar flexion. That's the bottom of the shoe. That's where we get the zero drop term in any brand of shoe. Okay, or just barefooted. How about that? The feet only work barefooted. That sounds an awful lot like saying there is only one way the feet work. Those are both videos that I filmed in St. George, Utah. Yes, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. I was on red rocks down there in the desert. That beautiful sandstone. Barefooted, hopping around on the rocks, showing how the feet only work barefooted. And we can wear shoes to cover them like a covering, but without altering their functionality at all. Or we alter the entire body. That includes the hands, which are the farthest away thing from the feet. So this rounding to our hands only can never be there if our feet are unaltered. We have a lot of videos under In the Image Clothing Company and just a lot of content up until today's date alone, only 15 months into the founding of In the Image Clothing Company as of today's date, the 30th of December 2025 is today's date. It's the 30th of December 2025 today. But I am in this for life, and so is Dante. I'm in this for life is an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. The fingers wrap around the thumb. Literal wording, around the thumb is how the fingers wrap. We don't need fingers to work with a thumb if we don't have a thumb to work with the fingers, and the fingers and the thumb don't work together if they don't come together. The fingers and the thumb only come together if we get closer to our body's center line. Really, actually. You know, that's the only way it actually happens. Muscles only contract. If you drop your shoulder, your hand opens. Okay, we have to close our hand to rise or raise our shoulder. Muscles only contract. The human body only pulls. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Bones are only shaped how they are. There's only a rounding to the hand so that all the tendons from the tips of the fingers up to the elbow and the musculature there, okay, can just track in line and clear through the bones to have operation of the hands. Each of the fingers in the hand have musculature and tendons going to them. And that's all stemming at the elbow. Coming through these two bones in the forearm, the radius and ulna. And if there's not a rounding in the hands, then there's not this nice area for everything to just clear inside the wrist, inside the forearm, inside the hand itself, to the fingertips. There's only one way the human body could ever work. So as I threw my bottle that I had there on the ground, what I mean is, I didn't mean to throw the bottle on the ground, but why I have it here is to show the side of this is flat. Okay? My fingers need to be working around to wrap around my thumb. Otherwise, the body just doesn't work, okay? If it's not allowed to work, it's God's design. We don't have a say over man-made flat things. You grab any rock out there and it's got some kind of texture to it to some kind of degree. There's probably some pretty darn flat rocks. I know that there is. But there's just texture to things in nature. Our hands are just needing to have all the dexterity that they have. Fingernails and toenails, all the way to the tips of the fingers and toes, fully supporting and backing them. Where grip strength comes from. A video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company I filmed down in beautiful St. George, Utah about a month and a half ago from today's date. The 30th of December 2025 is today's date. Grip strength really comes from the feet. The arches in the feet grip first, and then it travels up the spine before we can get to the shoulder, before we can get out to the hand. To think about having grip in our hand, we have to start at the shoulder, which really is the spine, which really is the foot. On Earth's gravity, grip strength, where it really comes from, is not squeezing your hand around something, first of all, flat, no. But even round, no. Not if you don't first have the rest of your body working correct. Your hand's just the farthest out extremity from everything else, really, except the toes, I guess, or the tip of the head. You have to have your whole body working as an entirety or it won't. It'll be compensating in a constant state of compensation, okay? We have to have our bodies working the only way they ever could. We have a lot of products we design nowadays, not me, but human beings in general. I'm one of the human beings that is just a general human being. We're just the same, but that's the problem. We all have the same rounding to our hands, unless you really have a deformed hand. Cool. It's your own very individualistic situation, and that's why we mention that that's a possible very individualistic situation. See, it takes me off guard because there's a lot that we can do to do all that we can do. We have to do all that we can to do all that we can, though. There's only one way the human body could ever work. And truly, in this universal human design, it's only ever going to work around the hands. Okay, they're rounded. They wrap around the thumb. The pinky finger is straight forward out the end of the shoulder. And that is with the pinky finger meeting the thumb. What I'm saying is, the pinky finger is the shortest. We have different length toes. Arches grip inward, and so our feet slightly roll in as they grip in and back with the different length toes. Then we're straight forward, neutral out that pinky toe. From internal rotation in the lower leg, and then external rotation in the lower leg. Just as in the entire leg, we have internal rotation from the neutral pinky toe straight forward, and external rotation from the neutral pinky toe straight forward. Like I showed with the hand to the elbow and the hand to the shoulder, it's the foot to the knee and the foot to the hip. Okay, it's just what it is. It's a mechanical machine. It only can operate how God designed. God, it's God's. It is Jesus Christ's design. So I scream about it. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Every body has it wrong. Myself would be included if we're ever, as human beings, trying to get our bodies to do anything. That is impossible. It always has been, it always will be. That's why you keep doing it. You'll never get enough of what's not for you, the stretching, the workouts, blah, blah, blah. Day after day after day, trying to keep up with something you'll never achieve. It's impossible. It is impossible. I'll say it a third time. It's impossible. It's undisputed. It's mathematics. It's physics. It's levers and hinges. The human body is mechanics. Is a video Dante and I filmed within the past week here. Okay, from today's date back. Today's date is the 30th of December 2025. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Take me out of it. Don't believe me, Evan Strong. Don't believe me. I'm the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for life. Don't believe us. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't. Just don't. Truth is truth. Don't believe it. Don't believe anything. Don't believe in anything. Don't believe. Have faith. God is there, though, and here, and always. There's only truth, and it can't leave. Jesus Christ is ever present. He cannot leave. It's impossible for him to deny himself, and he is the truth. Wow. There's only one way the hands work. They work around it. The open palm is what we get It's like an open area in the palm. It's like you could place a little ball in the palm of the hand when the hand is working around itself. There's only one way the human body could ever work. To have an open palm, you have to have a rounded hand. You know, that pinky finger, it is short. It sure is. The pinky toe is as well. You know, we talk about that's kind of a problem only if we design things that are flat, flooring that's flat, and the pinky toe just can't really do its normal function. You know, or holding things that are flat, the pinky finger can't reach. It can't. It's round though. Rounded things, the pinky finger can work just fine. All the pads of the finger meet each other at the thumb's pad because they can wrap around the thumb's pad. And just because the shape of our hands, God's design, and He's perfect. Okay, there's only one way the hands work. It is rounded. The open palm, you can't have an open palm if you don't have rounding to your fingertips. Really, your finger pads, not the tips, but the pads are what we use. Good nails. Got relatively flat on the tips so we don't roll out of the neutral. Wrist or ankle. Okay, gripped arch height, the height of a gripped arch. A video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here. Relatively flat cut nails all the way to the tips to support. And yeah, sure, mine are dirty underneath. Guess what? The goal is natural. There's a lot of dirt out here where I currently am standing, okay? I'm standing on the dirt. I am dirt. We're pulled from the clay. You know, it says that in scripture, but you don't have to believe in anything. You're only what you eat. You eat anything unnatural and your body can't digest that. It can't gain any nutrients from it. It has to process it through it, though. And that damages it only, okay? There's only natural. It's not a choice. Never has been, never could be. What will happen, and is, though, is things progressively getting more unnatural. Human beings progressively having more and more problems. Wow, I didn't even mean to say it like that. Talk about progressively getting worse. It's terrible. It's exponential. It's inflation, inflating our egos, thinking we can design things to improve our lives. We can never design anything to improve the human being. You can only allow it to be what God designed it to be, otherwise complications come and happen. So the pinky finger has to reach things. We've got videos under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here talking about the pinky finger. Involving the pinky finger is one of them, okay? Incorporating a daily, shoot. You know, back in 2024, I filmed some videos under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here, and I think there were 3 of them titled Incorporating a Radius in Daily Life. A radius or rounding to the hands is there. That's what an open palm is a rounding to the palm. Your pinky finger can only ever really be involved if something's round. If something's flat, your fingers spread apart. If something's round, your fingers can come together. That's just how it works mechanically. We've just got bones, and they're just shaped how they are. And something flat just spreads the fingers. Something round, they can come together. They're meant to wrap around the thumb. There's opposition in all things. You know, Dante and I filmed a video about a week ago, give or take, a week and a half ago, maybe, from today's date back. Today's date is the 30th of December, 2025, over here at Utah Lake, in Utah County, Utah, the state of Utah, the United States of America. The video's title is Keeping 2 Points of Contact in the Feet. 1 point of contact can be 1 foot. Opposing the other foot's contact on the ground. 2 points contact. 1 foot, 1 contact point. 1 foot, the other contact point. Or the toes, different length toes, by the way, and then the heel. Okay, different length toes, 1 point of contact, and the heel of the foot, 1 point of contact. Then we can grip. You can't grip, though, to something if there's nothing to grip to. I showed it like this, like a caterpillar walking. You pull the front to the rear, you pull the front to the rear, and you pull the front to you have to be able to pull the front to the rear. You only have grip in the hands if you can pull the fingers to something. That's why the thumb's there. You pull the fingers to the thumb, and the anchor point is the thumb. You pull the thumb to the fingers, and the anchor point is the fingers. Keeping 2 points of contact in the feet. Hey, keeping 2 points of contact in the hand. Why not? We have 2, maybe. If you do, it's good to, it's what I mean is Earth's gravity. And the universal human design is good to have 2 hands if you can. That's the point of prosthetics. That's what I mean. Gravitational pull of different weights on the body from side to side, from its center line, from Earth's center of gravity, right? It's just different if you only have one hand on one side of your body and not on the other side of your body. There's opposition in all things. There's only 2 points of contact, or there's no gripping that can happen. So the only way we have hands that are hands, the way that we have human being hands, is because we have the fingers pulling to the thumb, or the thumb pulling to the finger, or all 4 of the fingers from the thumb, okay? And they wrap around the thumb. It's round. That's where the open palm comes from. There's only one way the hands work. Let's throw our opinions in the trash can and set it on fire, please. There's only truth to life. We live in a modern man-made flat world. Dante knows about it. He lays on the tile. But he much prefers laying on the gravel, despite what anyone could believe. This is the truth. Meaning, texture, okay? There's softer things than this gravel that he could lay on, like some of this grass stuff that surrounds, okay? But he doesn't mind it. He is so blissfully peaceful looking, sleeping there. Texture. We need texture. We need texture. We can't grip arches in the feet without texture. Oh, no arches in the feet, no rounding to the hands. The feet support the body before we could ever think about the hands. If you have feet, they're the lowest point on Earth's gravity. And the hands are essentially the highest point in the body on Earth's gravity, okay, when we lift them above our head. So, yeah, hi Dante. He woke up. There's a truck driving over there across the dirt road. Gravel road. There's only one way the hands work. We have to have a rounding to our hands, or we don't have our hands working the only way they can. Then what happens? Compensation. Wow, the hands don't work properly, and so the shoulder compensates. Shoot. Why? Why does it do it? Why? Well, because there's only one way the hands work. There's only one way the human body could ever work. It's cold. We're moving down to St. George, Dante. When it happens. St. George, Utah, okay? It's warmer there. It's a true desert. Very desert-like. Utah is a desert, but here it's different by quite a bit, climate-wise, than just about 3.5 hours drive south from Utah County to St. George, Utah. Okay, hi, bud. The hands only work rounded. Okay. What's the video's title? The open palm and internal rotation. Internal rotation is the body coming closer to its center line. If we use things with our flat hands, when our hands really actually are round, meaning if we use flat things with our round hands, the shoulders drop, okay? We just can't get our fingers all the way together. They only will come together, really, when we're actually using them, they will only come together if they have rounding to them. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work, and muscles only contract in the body. They only get closer together. The human body only pulls. Our fingers only ever track in line, but they can only do that with the rounding in the hand, because they just have to clear each other as they move. Just the bones of the fingers. That's just how it works, okay? It's just God's design. It's just the shape of the bones. That's it. They have to be round. The hands, which is what we call an open palm. So what happens is if we don't have an open palm, but instead we have been using things flat, even at our feet that will travel up to our hands, through the body, okay, like standing on flat flooring or having shoelaces on top of our feet, not allowing them to rise and open that open gripped arch underneath the foot, okay, collapsing our feet down and out into external rotation because we do have different length toes. Our hands won't have this open palm. The hand is the shoulder. Between the hand and the shoulder is the elbow. The elbow has to stay at the sides of the natural waist. But that only happens if the shoulder's unaltered, because the shoulder rises and comes in, pivoting on this collarbone. Internal rotation from the shoulder to the foot. A video Dante and I filmed about a week and a half ago, give or take, from today's date. Today's date is the 30th of December, 2025. Internal rotation has to come from the shoulder before it can ever come from the foot. But it has to come from the foot before it can ever come to the shoulder, because we're on Earth's gravity, but it works on both ends within a kinetic chain, okay? A chain of motion, a mechanical machine, a machine of motion. The human body, it's only what it is. It only does what it does. God designed it. I didn't design it. I can't decide. I can't tell you any information out of an opinion that would matter. But I can speak the truth, just as everybody has an equal opportunity to. And it's God, the same since always. The same sense, God, the beginning is the Word. The Word is what we need to read. Read the Word of God, an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. There's only one way the hands work. A video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. The open palm and internal rotation is this video that we're currently filming as I'm speaking right now, under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company, because the pinky finger and internal rotation. Okay, the video that I referenced earlier under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here. The pinky finger is what determines internal rotation. The index finger, or really the thumb on the other side of the hand from the pinky finger, would determine external rotation. Okay, it's just how that would work. Okay, yeah, and really it'd be like, okay, internally rotating toward the body comes from the pinky finger, the shortest finger. Externally rotating comes from the index finger, but even the thumb is farther to the other side of the hand from the pinky finger, but the thumbs are anchor point for the fingers. Okay, for the fingers is what the anchor point is of the thumb. Okay, it's an anchor point. The thumb is for the four fingers that we do have. If you do have 4 fingers, there's only one way the human body could ever work. The arms just hanging down at the sides is their resting state. It's their neutral state. Pivoting on this collarbone, you know, the shoulder seams on top of our shoulders sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders. Our shoulders following the shoulder seams, well, one of the 3 bones that is the shoulder is the scapula, or the shoulder blade on the upper back. Those big bones up there that meet the upper arm bone and the clavicle, or the humerus and the collarbone. Same bones, just worded differently there. These bones, the shoulder blades or the scapulas, they sit behind our rib cage. They're not going to come in front of the body. They will not, ever. And also the musculature connects up to the base of the very rear of the skull and the spine, which is the very most rear part of the body. Shoulders only ever work behind the head. The hands are the shoulders. The upper trapezius muscle that I'm discussing here only connects behind the body. You won't get it to do anything else. It causes internal rotation, okay? It's what's determining where we're pivoting at the shoulder, and as we pivot at the shoulder, when we come up, we pivot in, just because it's just a bone from the center line out to the edge. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion, you could never train it. It is impossible. Don't believe me, but how could I have an opinion after I've discussed it thoroughly? It's just a machine, right? I am in this for life. The founder/leader of In the Image Clothing Company. My name is Evan Strong. This is my beautiful dog, Dante. He's just as much a team member as any human being or poodle ever will be under In the Image Clothing Company. He's my business partner. That's who Dante is. Also my best friend, man. And he's my dog, too. He's my dog. So I love Dante for a lot of reasons. Dante loves me. There's only one way the hands work, though. And that open palm, well, that's determining the level of contraction of our upper trapezius muscle. It's determining, oh, shoot, man, what? Where the elbows sit, at the natural waist. We only bend side to side at our natural waist. You can't bend side to side at the hips. You bend side to side at the hips, and a leg has to come off the ground. The hips don't bend side to side. The spine bends side to side above the hip bones, but below those lowest ribs. That's our natural waist, something that I didn't decide just because our goal is natural under all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. We bend side to side at the spine or forward and back. We can really use the wording and or forward and back when it comes to side at the spine. So that's only going to happen if our elbows are at a neutral height, sitting at the natural waist. Natural, neutral, and normal are synonyms within the human body's functioning. And that comes from the hand, as much as it comes from the feet, as much as it comes directly from the shoulder, down to the elbow, through the immovable bone that is the upper arm bone or the humerus. Pivoting on the immovable bone of the collarbone, clavicle, being determined by being behind the body because the immovable bone of the scapula or shoulder blade can't hit into the rib cage. And those scapulas or shoulder blades sit behind the rib cage only ever. I'm mocking people, I truly am, but we don't know what we don't know. We can't be held accountable for what we don't know. But what we should limit at all costs is false information. Anybody who's ever, that's 3 times I've said it, tried to or does or will, if, right, get your body to work, it's false information. Through, like, exercising it? No, that is false. Gravity's pull. The arms straight down to the sides. Okay? Gravity's pull. The body leaning front to back or left to right. There's a neutral only. Hello to the jet plane. Passenger plane. I don't know what it's called exactly. It's a big airplane. Pretty big. Looks small from here if I were to try to, like, measure it between my fingers with my open palm. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion to ever have, but the point is the pinky fingers have to reach things. Otherwise, that neutral wrist goes away. Okay? The pinky finger causes internal rotation. It just does. It's just on that side of the arm. Okay? The outside of the arm, if you will. Oh, shoot. There's only truth to life. So, man, we have to involve those pinky fingers, but you'll never do it with something flat, ever. It won't happen. It's impossible. Because the bones don't move. They'll just hit into each other. This nice rounding on something flat will just spread the fingers and drop the wrist. Then the pinky finger can't reach. Okay, there just has to be texture and rounding to things in life. Modern man-made world is what we live in, and it's only going to get worse. So buckle up. Don't believe me? Read the scriptures, the Book of Mormon, the Holy Bible. It's been prophesied about for thousands of years. Very, very, very long time. I mean, forever, really. It's just the plan of God, and you can't dispute truth without lying to yourself and God, without being delusional. There's only truth to everything, always, only, and ever. Okay, Dante is my dog. That's the truth. I signed some papers, legally I own this animal. He's domesticated, Anyway, his feet love the texture. My feet love the texture. Every body works the same. Catch the phrasing. Every body? Ooh. The open palm and internal rotation. Because well, the pinky finger, it determines internal rotation. Okay. It just does internally rotate the arm. the pinky finger. When we're having activation from the pinky finger, it internally rotates the arm, okay? It's just on that side of the arm that would do internal rotation. So, the pinky finger being the shortest, living in a flat world, placed onto God's earth, we're lacking a lot of internal rotation. That's one of the big reasons. There's a lot of reasons. Tags in clothing. Remove all tags from clothing. One of the Image Clothing Company's 2 prerequisites, in addition to where we discuss clothing fits for every body, or everyone who has a body, which is every body. Tags either cause a physical gap, changing the body's only working position, and or they just don't allow musculature to activate. Compensation tries to happen, it can't. The body's all just what it is. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is our second prerequisite. In addition to removing all tags from clothing, to not alter the body. Man, there's only truth to life. Okay, there's only truth to life. There is only truth to life. There's only truth to life. Am I crazy? Yes. Thank you. And scene. There's only truth. I don't know. I don't know what more to do. People don't listen to the truth. I've been speaking the truth for 15 months under In the Image Clothing Company. My own family doesn't want to hear it. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Yeah, this is me calling them out. Yes, it is. I am doing that right now. Am I petty? No. I'm giving eternal information that applies to every human, and a lot of the humans don't want to hear it. You don't have to care about clothing. It's altering your body if it's altering your body. There's only one way your body works, and I can tell you that. There's a universal human design. There's universal laws, God's laws, gravity. You know, that's a big point. Physics, mathematics, they're universal. We're measuring angles of things through mathematics. You know, it's a physical machine. Physicality. It's the human flesh. It's a body. It's physical. It only does what it does. I don't care who believes what. I don't believe in anything. Okay? The hands have to work round. The open palm comes from the pinky, but the open palm comes from the fingers tracking in line, and if that pinky finger can't reach, the wrist drops. Okay? So now we just have things not tracking in line from the fingertips up to the elbow, because there's only one neutral or in line position to the fingers. Mine are cold. Somewhere in the 30s, probably, degrees Fahrenheit here in Utah. Winter, okay? In Utah County, specifically, it gets fairly cold here. There's only one way the hands work. There's only one way the human body could ever work. That wrist will drop if our pinky finger can't hit things, and then if the wrist drops, well, we're not going to have a nice open rounding to things meshing and being able to work if they're not in line to work. So you'll never have a natural open palm. I am cold. The sun is getting relatively close to dropping behind the mountain there. I'm waiting for a little bit for the airplane to go just a little bit farther from us here before I really give the bulk of the rest of the information of the information, you know, of the point of the video's title. What's the video's title? The open palm and internal rotation. Okay? Man. Yikes. There's only one way the human body could ever work. I didn't decide it. I couldn't. I'd be the one that's delusional if I thought I could decide anything. There's only truth to life. God God resides, presides, decides all things, and governs it all. God is, and always everything. Okay, there's only one way. There's only one way. His name is Jesus Christ. The universe has a name. Is an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. His name is Jesus Christ, by the way. The universe. A lot of things are universal until they don't work for you. Oh. Well, God always and never stops working. God always works and he never stops working. There we go. Cleared up what I said because I'm imperfect. But I can deliver God's truth, just being a vessel of his to use as a mouthpiece, you know, a deliverer of information. This isn't my decision, by the way. There's only one way your open palm will be there and allow for internal rotation of your body. This is the big point, is that there's only one way the human body could ever work. Seriously, really though, the pinky finger, it'll internally rotate the arm when it gets activated. Okay, just as the upper trapezius, when it gets activated, internally rotates the arm from the shoulder out to the hand, the pinky finger activating will internally rotate the shoulder from the hand. It's all connected. Okay, it's a kinetic chain. I'll say this, okay? That rounding in the hands, yeah, I mean, that's where internal rotation will come from, because you're not going to get neutral if you can't have the pinky activating. The pinky will pull the arm up, you know, as it grips something into a neutral position, or even higher, let's say, okay? Then a dropped wrist down, which will be dropped shoulders. So having contact just across the whole hand really is the point, you know, from the index finger out to the pinky finger, with rounding to something, having contact there on one side pulling and the other side pulling of the hand, then we have just the neutral inline tracking of all the functioning from the elbow to the fingertips. And then in that neutral, that's where the thumb meets. The thumb really meets right between these two middle fingers. The middle finger, as we call it, and the ring finger. That's where the thumb really meets. In the center, at that neutral wrist, straight out from the pinky. Yeah, because all four of the fingers are meant to wrap around the thumb, and so you take off the outer two fingers, the index finger and the pinky finger, and then we have the middle finger is what we call it, and then the ring finger meeting the thumb. The index finger and the pinky finger are just shorter. People have slightly different length fingers that different, yeah, right, but that differ from other people's length of fingers, but really this is almost in every case how it would be. Your pinky finger is shorter than your ring finger that's right next to it, and on the other side of the hand, your index finger is shorter than your middle finger that's right next to it, because that's just how it works to meet the thumb with this rounding. This is how it works. It's just like our different length toes, you know. We roll evenly with even pressure off the ends of our different length toes, so the pinky toe points straight forward. There's just only one way it's designed. God designed it. And there's just so much texture, and even if it's not really all that round, what we could call rounding to nature. You just grab things, and the fingers, as the point, can grab around things. Again, it's the literal wording. The fingers grab things and wrap around the things. And then we have this open palm, which is a rounding to our hands. We just, damage ourselves as human beings. I'm cold. I'm not a fan of the cold. It's a big reason why Dante and I are moving down to St. George, Utah. There's a lot of reasons, though. We'll have our building down there, in the Image Clothing Company's building, where we can breed our poodles in. You know, we breed purebred standard poodles and show how to do it proper for the sake of keeping less dogs in shelters and more dogs at homes. I adopted Dante from a shelter. I don't know why he got there in the first place, but the importance of purebred dogs is a big thing we put importance on for the health of dogs. You know, letting dogs stay natural. It's for healthy dogs, for happy owners, you know. as well as happy dogs. You know, it's not about being happy, but just what I mean is what I mean. And there's a lot of context even up until today's date, you know, just on all four sides of the Image Clothing Company, where there are, on who we are and why we are. And we apply to you, even if you don't care to care. We're nothing to do with fashion, just to be very clear. It's about just the functionality of the human being, but clothing is the only thing physically placed onto the body. So anything we do in our lives ever, you can address that all you want, but you're doing it within what you're within. Within your clothing is how you're doing everything in life. Okay. The only thing physically placed on you is the only fix. Most direct, certainly, right? To human beings' physical problems. How could it not be? Well, it is. It'd be the same thing if I didn't have a clothing company, because as of today's date, we don't have any clothing yet to sell that we could call In the Image Clothing Company clothing. I've only worn other human beings' designs that I've had to modify to allow my body to work. We give so many free modifications and always will. In dog products, just modifying our approach to life so that we don't alter our bodies in life in general too, as well. Well, we're gonna get out of here. We'll yeah, thank you. This is good though. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. Hands start at the feet though. Everything does on Earth's gravity from bottom up. But that as well, you know, if we don't have a rounding in our hands, we're not gonna have internal rotation at our foot. If you don't have a rounding to your hand, or what we would call an open palm, as opposed to using things flat, and taking the rounding from your palm, from your open palm, and getting rid of it, you know? Getting rid of it, though, what does that mean? Well, it means you've gotten into chronic patterning, scar tissue gets built up, bone spurs get built up, oversized clothing does this, imbalances in clothing of any kind. Oversized clothing in itself is an imbalance, you know, it puts your body on one end of its neutral. When there's another end, like an oversized top will drop your shoulders. When there's a neutral to the height of shoulders from dropping them or lifting them. You know, ropes introduced to the body, shoelaces, drawstrings, anything that you could call a rope that you could tie around or onto your body. There's only one way the body could ever work. I'm gonna leave this video. Okay, thank you. I am in this for life. Today is the 30th of December, 2025. Shout out to Dante. Hey, Dante. Dante, up. Good boy. Let me lift you up. Show the people your beautifulness. Say hello. My name is Dante. Good boy. Good boy. I know I woke you up. We're gonna walk back to the vehicle we drove here, brother. Up. Can you see his buzz? He's that tall. He's 20 inches tall at the withers, as far as my measurement goes. He's a beautiful man, though. Man, bro, you're beautiful. So, thank you. Seriously, really, thank you. We do a lot with, poodle parade events here in the state of Utah and wherever else we span out to, but we live up Utah. That's the focus, location-wise. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size or mixed poodles of any size, and we'll get people into nature and dogs into nature, Just do what we do. It'll be really great. Don't come for us at all, please. Come for the event. Come for the reason why we're doing them. Subcategories of poodle parade events like rid the rubbish or clean the creek. Poodle parade events. Anyway, yeah, right. There you go. Thank you. I enjoyed this one a lot.